And the Trump administration is now taking the fight over the Alien Enemies Act to the Supreme Court. The White House is requesting the Supreme Court toss a district judge's order that paused deportation flights under that wartime law. Earlier this week, an appeals court rejected the government's request to stay that order by Judge James Boasberg. Again, the administration now asking the Supreme Court to intervene.
Are you surprised at some of the legal efforts and some of the judges that have weighed in? There's about 8 or 10 now of these cases that are at least temporary holds. They're being challenged by the DOJ.
Right.
Are you surprised by that pushback?
Well, it's the D.C. Circuit is notorious for having a very far-left bias. And when you look at the people close to some of these judges, where are they working? Oh, they're working at these NGOs. Oh, they're the ones getting this money. Does that seem like a system that lacks corruption? It sounds like corruption to me.
Would challenge Judge Boasberg to reread the Constitution and understand that his actions and the actions of this D.C. appeals court, which is essentially doubling down on the unconstitutional behavior of Judge Boasberg, to reread the Constitution and understand Article 2. If they did that, they would have thrown out this case from the beginning. We have full confidence that the U.S. Supreme Court will stand for the Constitution and stand with President Trump on this matter.
Congressman Perry, do you trust Trump's national security team to keep our war plans top secret?
You trust your mother every night to fix your Hot Pockets and make sure your Game Boy is turned on?
Bro. Tim, hey man, that's the wrong person to walk up on. I tell you that. That's the wrong Republican to walk up on.
Want to really see something that said, take a look at what happened.
Hey. Why this beat so cold?
We will make America proud again. And you try to kill our citizens. We will make America wealthy again. And yes, together, we will make America great again.
And I'm going to say this again. If a judge, a district judge, think they can outrank the president, then we don't have a country. Then what are elections for? Just saying. People spoke loud and clear, man. We spoke loud and clear. You know, I'm sick of Democrats. I'm sick of these judges. I'm sick of the radical left. I'm sick of it, man. You know, it's just a complete circus. And I'm calling for impeachment. And Trump just asked for a full-blown investigation on this judge. But this activist judge, look at this here. Just look. Pull it up on the screen. You know, has just extended his block on President Trump's deportation flights of violent gang members for another 2 weeks. Put the judge on the plane. Please send this judge to El Salvador. I know y'all be laughing at me when I start saying stuff like this, but I'm serious, man. I'm dead serious. Put this judge on the plane and have a couple of them gang members rough them up. For real. Knock some sense into them. But that's no surprise given that his wife and daughter are making absolute bank off illegals. Yeah. Where is this? You know, man, where's SCOTUS, man? We got to end this now, man. But this thing's headed off to the Supreme Court, y'all. We got a lot of big things to get into in this video, man. You know, but I'm just disgusted, man. I'm sick and tired. Enough is enough, man. You know, enough is enough. Because the fact that Jim Jordan hasn't started impeachment hearings on these activist judges is pathetic. You know, Jim Jordan came out and said, we got all the evidence on other things. We got all the evidence on this, on this, on this. And what's that other fella name? He come out there, you know, with his nice little haircut. We have all what we need and somebody will be held accountable soon. Unbelievable. Trump has called for an immediate investigation. you know. But what's the point of elections, man, if we got this crap going on? I'm just saying, y'all. I'm just like y'all, man. I know we all singing off the same song sheet, man. We all on the same tone, you know. A disgrace, man. But Elon Musk is back at it again and wants everybody to sign the petition to in opposition to the activist judge in Wisconsin. The first winner was announced today, and the next will be announced in the next 2 days. I know it will be today because this happened, but yeah, somebody just won $1 million, man, and more people are winning. I know a lot of y'all were saying in our previous video, we'll sign it for free. We don't need no money. Elon, keep your money. Keep your money. You know. But for what he has done, man, he has saved a lot of things, man. But you know how they come out, the radical left. Oh, he bought the election. He bought the election. You know how the radical left do it. They didn't win fair and square. Oh, a disgrace, man. I tell you. A disgrace. Let me see what they're saying. I'm sick of these corrupt judges and Democrats. Impeach the judge ASAP. He's a traitor. Bye-bye. I don't want to pay tax dollars to defend drug dealers. That judge thinks he has an executive powers. Absurd. What side are these judges on? Not the American citizen side. Yeah. You know, like I say, put the judge on the plane, man. Put the judge on the plane. For real. You get on there with them gang members, those murderers. You get on there. Because the people spoke loud and clear, man. I want to see what my brother Davari talking about in this video. This is Trump. Albany Leftist judge with this request. So check it out.
So we have a bombshell update for you here. President Trump has taken his case to the Supreme Court to get them to overturn that radical judge who blocked President Trump from deporting TDA gang members. Let's hear more on this.
The Supreme Court now is given by the government two things that they have to decide in the coming days and weeks. First, as you mentioned, it's the stay on Judge Boasberg's order, whether or not that is going to actually happen. You'll remember, this is the order that blocked the Alien Enemies Act from being used to deport Venezuelans from this country to El Salvador. The government's also asking for what's called an immediate administrative stay of Judge Boasberg's order, which would immediately remove the order from taking place, basically get rid of it, and potentially lead to planes taking off to Venezuela any minute now, as soon as the Supreme Court were to decide this. Now,
yeah, so we know how MSDNC will spin this, but I'm just going to give you 3 reasons, and this is my own personal opinion, why President Trump is right in exercising the Alien Enemies Act. Number 1, the law is still on the books. It's not unconstitutional. If it was unconstitutional, then the Supreme Court would have already ruled that this law should not even exist, or Congress would have did something about it. Number 2, when you allow TDA gang members en masse to invade our country, and not only that, other countries have also supported this effort, it is a national security issue. And number 3, the Supreme Court has ruled on things similar to this as far as principle goes. I'm talking about executive authority. And here's what President Trump had to say earlier about this.
We hope this court system that's become so active all of a sudden in trying to protect some very, very bad people of crime, they have to stop. They have to let us do the job. We were elected to do the job. They shouldn't be interfering in that. It's a very sad thing that's going. Nobody can even believe it. They'd rather have them stay in our country. These are murderers in many cases and people about as bad as we've ever seen. And they have to let us do the job. They have to let Cash and Pam and everybody else do their job.
Now, for Democrats who claim this is not politically motivated and that the judge getting 4 of the Trump cases is just random, what about this, though? Because it's being reported that the daughter of this judge is part of an NGO who offers legal aid to illegal immigrants, including members of MS-13 and the TDA gang. The NGO is indirectly funded by taxpayers through, guess what? USAID grants. Now,
you just can't make this up, you know.
Now, here's the Solicitor General who submitted this request to the Supreme Court and what she had to say.
Solicitor General Sarah Harris writing today that the Supreme Court should decide once and for all who gets to set policy for sensitive national security cases like the Trump administration's recent deportation efforts using the Alien Enemies Act. Harris writing to the High Court today, this case presents fundamental questions about who decides how to conduct sensitive national security related operations in this country, the president or the judiciary. The Constitution supplies a clear answer. The president, the Republic cannot afford a different choice.
I mean, it seems like it's a very clear-cut case. I mean, there are some nuances, of course. Maybe in the way that they went about executing the Alien Enemies Act could be up for debate, which is really what the Supreme Court is here for. However, overall, for Democrats to call this a constitutional crisis and, President Trump is going to run up in your house in the middle of the night and disappear you, clearly that is them being extreme. Okay. Now, I think the better question is, what will Congress do, or what can Congress do? Well,
the same with the fearmongering, like the ladies on the, like that viral clip of the ladies on the spew a couple of days ago. Trump's going to deport American citizens. Man, these people they kill me, man. And she was dead serious when she said that. She was dead serious. Trump's going to deport American citizens. He's going to deport American citizens. I tell you, man. Times that we are living in, man. What a time to be alive, especially in America. Oh, boy. What a time, y'all. It's been a complete shit show, man. We got all this crap going on. Then what's the point of elections, man? People spoke loud and clear. Landslides, every swing state. I mean, popular vote. I mean, we can go down the list. The people voted for this change. The people voted for common sense.
Here's an idea.
Shannon, what can they effectively accomplish in Congress? Or is this question better served by the U.S. Supreme Court, do you think?
It's really a question of who's going to get to it first. Lawmakers do have some say in this, and what they could do potentially with legislation is say you can only issue an injunction as a district court judge, one of those hundreds, if it applies to the parties before you. So it would just be the parties to the case. Or maybe they could say it will only apply within the district in which you serve, so that a single district judge cannot do this nationwide. Those are potentially some of the contours of legislation. But the Supreme Court, as we've talked about, you guys, there are numerous justices who have called this practice into question, both Republican appointees and Justice Kagan, a Democrat nominee. So who gets to it first, the court or Capitol Hill? I don't know, but it seems like they're ready to finally get to this question of these nationwide injunctions.
And here's the post that President Trump put up actually criticizing this judge. You guys may have already seen this, but the bottom line here is he says, how disgraceful is that judge? Has just been given a fourth Trump case, something which is statistically impossible. There's no way for a Republican, especially a Trump Republican, to win before him. He is highly conflicted, not only in his hatred of me, but the massive Trump derangement syndrome, and because of disqualifying family conflicts, which we talked about earlier with his daughter. And then he goes on and, he rips him as usual. Guys, just listen to these facts for a second. This judge, out of 18 that could have possibly gotten this case, right? And the case against Pete Hegseth, because he's being sued for the Signal Chat debacle, which is insane, but fine. 18 judges. Why does this judge have 4 of those cases? I mean, come on, guys. It just doesn't make any sense. And then his daughter's on the NGO. Clearly, there's a conflict of interest. But this is why Congress needs to step in. And I've been saying this since the beginning. Congress needs to catch up to President Trump. Now, here's a special assistant to the president, Harrison Fields, and what he had to say about this. Take a look.
Challenge Judge Boasberg to reread the Constitution and understand that his actions and the actions of this D.C. appeals court, which is essentially doubling down on the unconstitutional behavior of Judge Boasberg, to reread the Constitution and understand Article 2. If they did that, they would have thrown out this case from the beginning. We have full confidence that the U.S. Supreme Court will stand for the Constitution and stand with President Trump on this matter.
Yeah, so as a result of President Trump being truly committed to what he wants to do for America, which is to make it great again, Democrats only really have one response, which is lawfare. And now they're even, I guess, admitting out loud that they want to set up a shadow government to combat everything that President Trump is doing. Take a look at this.
We see one of the first things they do is try and restrict the vote. This is one of the things, though, that this is going to take power to the streets. I don't know what the answer is on this, but I've been saying this. I think
stolen valor, tampon Tim. Somebody come get Grandpa Tim off the Grandpa Walls off the stage, please. You've done enough damage. You didn't win. As soon as you opened up your mouth, you actually helped us. Thank you, sir. You helped us a whole lot. And you helped the stock, too. Next time we ask that you open up your portfolio before you open up your mouth, Governor. Clown, man. This dingleberry. Stolen valor tampon.
we need a shadow government, so when all these things come up every single day, we've got an alternate press conference telling the truth about what things are happening, telling what's going out.
Yeah, so clearly a shadow government was not the right language in whatever he was trying to say there. Now, if he wants them to set up some type of system or organization that is trying to tell the truth in response to what President Trump is saying, he doesn't have to look no further. Mainstream media has it covered. The problem is most of Americans don't believe them. And it also doesn't help Democrats that the Trump administration is not shy to use social media. This is why this video that I'm going to show you next is Kristi Noem in El Salvador in front of the prisoners. This really triggered a lot of backlash from people on the left. You probably have already seen it, but I just want to show it to you so it sets up the next clip where someone lost their mind over it. Take a look.
Here at CCOT today and visiting this facility. And first of all, I want to thank El Salvador and their president for their partnership with the United States of America to bring our terrorists here.
We've seen this already.
$60,000. So I guess that has caused some level of backlash on the left, as if they don't have any people on their side wearing $60,000 watches, but fine. And secondly, they don't like the optics. They think it's being insensitive, but this is the mindset of a progressive. They have more compassion for TDA gang members than they do our own veterans, okay? That's just the bottom line. And I'm going to show you an example of that. Watch this clip on Fox News that just went down moments ago.
I think that Democrats have a real opportunity here, in part because the Trump administration is really overplaying their hand. You're right that Democrats want to deport illegal immigrants and support that. They don't support people with legal visas getting disappeared off the streets, or Kristi Noem standing in front of prisoners in very uncomfortable, like Nazi-style ideology. So I think Republicans are overplaying their hand.
Nazi-style ideology? She was standing in front of a prison and
That's what we are. They call it that everything's about, Hitler, Nazi, dictator. It doesn't stop, man. It doesn't stop. And I get sick of that lady's mouth on Fox News. It just doesn't stop, man. Same with that Tarloff lady. Same with Jessica. It just doesn't stop, man. Then you got people, the CNNs, they just got sued, and Jamal Bowman just got hit with a lawsuit from Elon Musk for getting called a Nazi. When will they learn, man? When will they learn? After he got landslided out, Mr. Fire Alarm. It's like every single week somebody's on air saying somebody's a Nazi. I'm sick of this crap, man.
Picture with hardened criminals. That picture with all those men shirtless behind her was one of the most offensive things. As someone who has spent my entire life studying.
Walk her off set. Just walk her off set, please. Y'all grab that mic off her chest and take her off set.
The Democrats trying to slur over Nazis.
It's not a slur, Larry.
Completely
That imagery was one of the most offensive things I've ever seen.
Did you realize she was sitting in a prison in El Salvador?
Why does she have to stand in front of it?
Okay, let me just take a moment because I have something special I want to share with you guys. This to kick back criminals. And 3, I find it so interesting that you have more outrage by this video than you did for Lincoln Riley's family. And this is the type of people we have in this country, ladies and gentlemen. And that's why we're always going to show it to you, because they literally think this way. And if you thought that was outrageous, listen to this.
The reason you should care is because you might be next. Based on what you look like, based on the color of your skin, based on the tattoo, the God you worship, you might be next. I mean, the suspension of due process.
Yeah, Trump's going to deport American citizens. This is why the fake news, the legacy media, the mainstream media is where it's at now. This is why.
Where government walks into, as you said, Alicia, to a place of worship or to a school or to a community or to, let's say, an ethnic restaurant and decide, hey, we don't like the way you look, we're going to round you up. You might be next. You might be a U.S. citizen, but you could be next.
I wouldn't take it.
That's my first time seeing that clip. I know about the women on the spew saying stuff like this, but here it is, man.
Anything he says serious, because we know all they do is push fear tactics.
Fear mongering, man. It's all it is, fear mongering. I've had enough of this crap, man. I really am, y'all. It's tiresome, man. I know we laugh, we have a good time, and it's but it's just tiresome, man. We can't take these people serious. I know, man, but still, it's MSNBC, Rick. Relax. What's new from there? They have nothing else to run on but to hate and bash the man,
Okay. Now, what's more important is understanding what is serious is the success that the Trump administration has had as it pertains to closing the border.
They don't want to talk about that. They don't want to talk that the fact that prices are coming down, that egg prices are coming down. They don't want to talk about what terrorists is actually doing. They don't want to talk about nothing. But that Trump is the bad guy. Elon Musk is the bad guy. That they're destroying the country. That's what we get from the fake news. And that we American citizens are going to get deported.
In getting these violent criminals out of our country. And President Trump was asked what has made them so effective in doing that.
You and your team apprehended a top 3 leader in the violent gang, MS-13, yesterday, just 30 minutes outside of Washington, D.C. What has made you and your team so effective in finding, locating, apprehending, and deporting these violent, illegal migrants?
I love this guy. I wish more people would ask questions like that. But thank you. That's very nice. I appreciate it.
And I want y'all to go. We did a report and looked at the data and seen the coverage on that when we covered it yesterday. And majority of it, 90% of it, was Fox News. That they got one of the top leaders, top gang members, off the streets in our communities, man. Public saying these threats in our communities, man. Public safety threats. But these activists, these judges, they want the plane to turn back around and make a U-turn. Bring the gang members back. Bring the rapists, the murderers back. We want them here.
And they happen. All you're doing is being fair with when you ask a question in that way. Pam Bondi and Cash Patel and all of the rest of law enforcement. And I think we have to include ICE and Border Patrol, Paul of Border Patrol, the whole group from Border Patrol. They're so incredible. And it's, dangerous stuff, hard stuff. And it's really an unforced error because these people were allowed into this country. They shouldn't have been in this country. They would have never been in this country. We're getting rid of some of the worst criminals in the world. They came out of jails and mental institutions from all over the world. And they caught one of the worst criminals in in the world, I guess, in terms of evilness. You don't get any worse than the MS-13 guys and the Tren Diaragua guys. It's, you could flip a coin. It's a rough group.